The new Wizards of Morcar expansion for Heroquest is finally here, and it brought one of the most fun monsters in fantasy. We're going to be looking at the Mimic, but in Heroquest it's known as the Dreadshifter. In this video, I'm going to show you two methods for painting these Mimics, including both of the miniatures available in the set. We're going to cover the wood grain, the slimy tongue, and making sure we show off those very hungry teeth. By the end, you'll have two ways to approach your Dreadshifters, either with traditional metallics or non-metallic metals, ready to ambush your barbarian leading party. As you can see here, I've started strongly with a base coat of Scorched Earth from two thin coats. Now, I have just released two videos talking about dungeons and lasers, city streets and cottages. In those videos, I do cover alternate methods of painting wood, so consider this your third option. If you'd like more options, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out those other videos. But focusing on the miniature in front of us, I'm now going to use some ancient forest to pick out the wood grain. As always, the tip is good, but the side of the brush is better for longevity and speed of picking out the wood grain. This should take really no time at all. All the advice and tutelage here will apply to both models until the final step of the metallics. The only exception to that is the stone around the door frame. For this guide, I will be taking a lot of inspiration from the box art, but I have made the decision to move from a deep purple into a more pinky purple. I just think it really pops on the table, especially against all those browns and metals. And speaking of browns, we're going to bring up the brightness with some Wasteland brown, just picking out all those nice edges, you know, the places where your adventurers will get splinters before being bitten. For the extreme edges, we're going to use some Sandstone. These are all the little bits that really stand out. And to save the brown being washed out from the pinks and the greens we'll be applying later. For those who've been following me on Twitch for a while or watched a few of my YouTube videos, you'll know I've got a very cartoonish approach to my painting. I really love my miniatures to stand out against the background. I've been inspired by 90s cartoons and some heavy inspiration from pre-2000 comic books. If you feel like you've gone too far or this is too bright for you, Battle Mud Wash with just a little smidge of black, watered down about 50%, is an absolutely perfect wash for this. Harmonizes the wood grains and puts shadow around the rim. For the brightness of the face and the tongue, we're going to need some solid base layers, and that will be provided by Hydra Green. We're going to be working through the Triad, eventually pushing Ghoul Green to the absolute brightest. If you need help deciding which paints go where, don't forget you can keep the card nearby. But I will always encourage you that these are your models and you can paint them your way. You don't have to do box art, you don't have to do traditional colours. With this layer of Hydra Green, I focused it primarily around the top of the gum line, the eyeballs themselves, and the seams around the edge of the box. With the door, primarily on the tongue, the gum line, and the eyeballs. As with all mini painting, please be aware of oncoming cat traffic. If everything's cat safe, you can move on to a highlight with Jade Green, focusing on the curvature of the eyeballs and the little brim of the gums and the side of the box. With our doorway Dreadshifter, you're going to be focusing a lot of time on the tongue. This is a really nice place for you to blend, and it gets some very easy points in the aesthetically pleasing. For those who are confident with their painting, you can even do this while the model is wet, to enhance your blends and keep everything silky smooth. The same is true for the Ghoul Green as we move further up the gradient. If you are not comfortable working with wet paint, you can water down your brush about 50%, and you can do very thin layers to encourage smooth blends. With my style and my admittedly very heavy-handedness, I do tend to leave my paint a little bit thicker than most. However, since I use a very bold-bodied brush, such as the Raphael 8404 or my OnlyFans Signature series, I can add more moisture to the brush and keep the paint wetter longer, allowing me to adjust my blends on the fly. I got into doing YouTube video tutorials because my stream were asking me how to do these things out of hours, and I really wanted to create a bank for both them, my godchildren, my daughter for the future. I'm not a display painter, I don't enter competitions, my advice won't take you to Golden Demons, but I do hope that this takes you to a place where you are happy with your miniatures. At the end of the day, people have had Heroquest and other TTRPG systems for generations and not painted a single model. So if you get one done, you've probably beaten 90% of people. So I do hope this video inspires you confidence in your mini painting. Working on the door exclusively, we have this stone frame holding everything together, and I'm using Ranger Cloak. This grey-green gives a wonderful little recess of just aged dungeon look. This will also provide a contrast against the royal cloak we're applying to the feet and the gums of the actual face of the Dreadshifter. Working around the eyes can take a steady hand, but don't worry, we've still yet to paint the pupils on the eyeballs, so there will be plenty of time to touch up any mistakes later. We're going to be applying this the same way to our box mimic, focusing around the face and the eyelids. For those with high stats in perception, you may have noticed I actually forgot to paint the feet of this model. and magically it just gets corrected in the editing. And for both of our Dreadshifters, we are going to work our way through Sword Hilt Burgundy as our first highlight. Again, very similar application to that of the tongue and the face from before. And then we're going to push into Glistening Gums for that bright popping pink. Again, if it goes too pink for some of you, you can apply a purple wash to help harmonise those layers. We need to add a little bit of malice and menace to this project, so we're going to be using some Sandstone for the teeth. I really want to sell that level of threat from the Mimic. I think D&D's given them too much exposure as just a fun gimmick monster, so hopefully the incarnation of the Dreadshifter is a bit more menacing. Its stat card will say so. Don't forget, even Dreadshifters deserve a good pedicure. For the seasoned painters among you, you may have a wet palette. I would highly recommend it as it will keep your paints alive a lot longer on the palette. So with that in mind, we're going to use some White Scar now, and we're going to use it to pick out some light effects on the tongue, make it look a little extra slobbery, and we're going to take some of that white paint and mix it in with the previously used Sandstone to create a highlight for all the teeth. We're also going to work from the same supplier White Scar, mixing it in with our Ghoul Green to create a highlight for the eyeballs. In 2026, mini paints are not cheap, with many of them now reaching up to £4. The budget ones tend to be around the £2.50 to £3 area, but I'll be honest with you, it's all getting a bit of a joke. So for that reason, I do highly recommend getting a wet palette to make your paints last longer, and all my video guides will be mindful of using your active palette before adding any new paints. For those looking at paints of many varieties, do check out Griffin Gaming, who sponsored this video today, and use code MikeBones to save extra money on all your favourite hobby supplies and miniatures. There's a link in the description below, as well as a list of all the paints used today. So here's the effect after blending the tongue. That little harsh white line has been softened, and it's looking a lot more slimy and ready to masticate. I said masticate, as in to chew. Going back to focusing on the door, and in particular giving a good rim, we're going to be focusing with Wizard Grey. We're going to leave a little shadow in each of the recesses around the detailing of the door, adding to both the aging and the weathering. We're also being mindful of the curve at the top, creating a nice little blend in the highlight, and leaving little shadows under all the little circular areas at the top. We're going to continue to emphasize this with some Chicharradon Grey, really accentuating those raised areas. We're also going to use the side of the brush to edge highlight. I'm thinking of this very much like an artistic picture frame, where with a good framing we're really selling the miniature in the middle. To that end, we're going to use some Doom Death Black to pick out the pupils. We are very lucky with this miniature that the designers left them recessed, so it should be a lot easier for you to pick out and focus on the pupil themselves and not embarrass myself on stream like I did the other day. Thank you everyone who bullied me. In both Discord and on stream, live in front of my friends. Also, don't forget to water down that paint 50%. We're going to use it to create some shadows on the archway. We're going to double down on that effect by accentuating the highlight with some Chicharradon Grey mixed with some White Scar. There will be many painters who decide to dry brush the stone, and you know what? It's a fair technique. It works wonderfully on terrain. However, on this miniature, I think it's a really good opportunity to have it pop against its own frame. So give this a try. At this point in the video, we're going to split up the two Dreadshifters into non-metallic and traditional metallics. The reason for that is I personally prefer doing non-metallics, so I like everything to look that cartoony style I told you about, but many of you will prefer using metallics. Since I've got two miniatures, I'm going to show you both ways. While I prep the area with some Death Reaper, I do want to remind you all I'm not a display painter. I have not mastered non-metallics. I just have a good enough understanding of them and appreciation that suits my style at a level I'm happy with. There are many people here on this platform who make amazing guides on non-metallic metals. There is a video I recommend, I'll put a little link at the top there. Shout out to Jimmy the Brush, who actually taught me how to do non-metallic metals. So please do check that out. So to highlight the Death Reaper, I am going to use some Cold Corpse Blue to give it that more metallic-y hue with a slight reflection of blue in it. I'm going to continue this trend by mixing some Ivory Tusk in with our Cold Corpse Blue to show the areas where the light is most hitting. For this model, it's primarily going to be the top of the bracket with a small rim on that bottom. For the most highlighted areas, I'm going to use a little line of White Scar to show where the light is hitting off those hard edges. There are many ways to approach non-metallic metal gold, and I'll be honest with you, I learned a brand new one only a week ago using pinks, oranges and blonde shades. But for this, I'm just going to use the Reaper kit. It's 3 colours from Reaper Miniatures. It's an absolutely amazing gold. As with all paint triads, you start off with a base tone and then you highlight through their shades. And just as we did before, we are going to edge these with white to show the harsh lines of reflecting light. This approach does take a little bit longer than doing traditional metallics, however, it is much more my style. That said, we're going to flip over to the box mimic and show you how easily that can be done. Following the edges of the chest, we're going to be using Bitz Tin, a wonderful tribute to one of the best paints Games Workshop ever made. We're going to cover the bracket as well as every bit of the trim in this as a base colour. This will apply natural dirt effects and a little bit of rusting. We're going to layer that up with some Scorched silver to bring it into the more silvery hue. If you want this to look more old and battered, you can leave it in the browner shades using this as a highlight, or if you want to completely cover it and just leave a little essence of the brown showing through, you can do that as well. Entirely up to you. For those wanting this to be extra shiny in the light, tantalizing their players with loot, you can give it a coat of plate armor. No matter which method you followed, I do hope you are happy with your mimic. Dreadshifter, legally distinct mimic. No matter which technique you used, I do hope you are happy with your models, and if you are, please do leave me a sub. I would love to bring you more content. I thank each and every one of you for your time, and especially my Patreons, who are the most amazing supporters a person could ask for. Excelsior Adventures.